Hi, scrappy friends. It's Kim back from Making Creative Memories in Time. It's been a hot minute. My dad has been ill, been in the hospital, and I have been spending time helping to take care of him, making sure he's on the mend and ready for this spring and summer. So today I am back to share in a memorial hop for Sonia, Rivera, and this hop is all about your favorite things. I did not know Sonia, and for that I'm sorry, but thoughts and prayers for all who loved her, her family, and all who loved her. And there will be a full playlist linked down below, so be sure and give everybody some love. So my favorite things, when I think about my favorite things, it's my niece, my great niece, and my great nephew. And these pictures were literally just taken yesterday. My Liliana, who is my 4-year-old great niece on my husband's side of the family, she's getting ready to have a baby brother in September when she turns 5. And then my great nephew on my side of the family, Roland Bow. And for those of you who frequent my channel, you have seen both Liliana and Roland Bow. And so I am going to scrapbook these St. Patty's Day pictures from my favorite things. But in that, I'm also going to share some of my favorite things. So I love a good sketch, and this sketch I found on Pinterest, and it's inspired blueprints, sketches to build on. I love this, and I'm going to rotate the sketch counterclockwise, and I'm going to have 3x4 photos here. I'm going to use some pattern paper, a little treatment here. I'm going to do a little stencil here, which brings in some more of my favorite things. So if you follow me, you know I love a good stencil. So this is a, it's brand new to me. I did not have this Tim Holtz stencil. And as luck would have it, it just came in today. So this is very botanical. And then you have these awesome, just little phrases. Find joy in the ordinary. Today is full of possible. Shine like the stars. I'm happiest when I'm with you. Don't forget to fly. Never stop exploring. Creativity takes courage. Just one life. Just all these little, I love these little stamps. I may pull some of this, maybe, but I do think I'm going to use the stencil. And what I love about this stencil is it's like botanical with possibly, depending on how you look at it, butterflies. It's just random and it's fun. So also, if you know me, you know I love a good stamp, right? So I've pulled, since we're doing St. Patrick's Day, 2 different St. Patty's Day or March. This one I think I'm going to stamp Lucky as part of my title, maybe. Then my title may be this, You Are My Lucky Charm, because I tell Roland he's my lucky charm right now. Love the butterflies. I like the Here Comes the Sun. Then there's these little butterflies I could actually stamp possibly in there. Of course, you know I love me some good gold splatter from my water paints and my fluffy nib paintbrush. Of course, I had to pull that. My distress water canteen sprayer, and then the inks that I have pulled, since I'm mostly working with greens, and I don't know what I'm going to use here. I've pulled Clover, Evergreen, and Green Apple. Now, I did do a sampling of Green Apple to see how it looked against the paper that I'm going to use, and I really like the Green Apple, so my stencil is going to be Green Apple. My stamping is either going to be Evergreen to match up there or Clover. I think Evergreen is probably going to be my ink. So now let's talk real quickly about the papers. So of course, if you follow me, you know my go-to for a base is white cardstock, okay? But another one of my favorite things favorite white cardstock. Another one of my favorite things is to trim a little off two edges and have a background. And we're going to do that with this. I'm going to gut it. And then this is actually just a scrap that was left over from another project. And we're going to probably just trim down a little on one side. I'm going to pull just a hint right here. And I can even do it on this side. Just a hint, like maybe 1/4 of an inch of this gold shimmer to give this just a really good little feel. And then I'm going to pull in this pattern. So let's get started, shall we? And hopefully this will not be a long video. My first one coming back. And I want to let everybody know my dad is better. We were awakened at 4 in the morning. My dad and my mom live out of state. They live in Tennessee. And we were awakened in the morning at 4 in the morning to get to the regional hospital, which is about 45 minutes away from us, that an ambulance had taken my dad. And we thought he'd had a heart attack, but he had an entirely different medical emergency that was extremely life-threatening. I don't want to share my dad's medical issues here on the interwebs, but it was very touch and go and scary for a while. But my dad, praise the Lord, is doing better. So I cut a 1/2 inch off two sides, okay? And then we are going to gut this paper at 1 inch. So I'm lining up 1 inch in right here, and I'm going to start my blade at 1 inch, and I'm going to come down to 11. And there's this, I don't know if you can see this on my trimmer. There's this little mark right there, and that's going to help me know where my blade is sitting, okay? So I am lining up at 1 and coming down to 11, and we're just going to repeat all the way around. And that's going to gut this paper. I'm going to get what I need for my favorite type of, it looks like a layered base page. And then I can still use what's left in the middle to accent on my page. And that is one of my favorite things. And I have to tell you guys, I have missed you. I have missed scrapbooking. And to deal with all of my nervous energy after my dad's medical scare, I came home and started deep cleaning closets. And when I started deep cleaning closets, yeah, I could no longer get to my scrapbook room because things I was taking, I'm going to just work on one mat, friends. Things that I was taking out of my other closets, I was putting in here in my scrapbook room. But like I told my husband, I just had all this nervous energy, and it had somewhere it needed to go. So there we go. But we're good now. And we're just going to put adhesive around the edges here. And let's line this back up. And so here is my favorite kind of base page. And that plaid all on its own is like really powerful, but when you use it as a base page, isn't it wonderful? Like, I love that. So what I'm thinking about doing when we pull our sketch back in, okay, I am thinking about doing a 3-inch piece, and I want to look at the directionality. So this is a little bit, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit like a chevron, and I want that up and down. I don't want it to go horizontal. I want it vertical. So I'm going to just cut about 3 inches. Now, I could totally do a torn paper effect here because torn paper is also one of my favorites. I'm not going to cut any off the edge just yet. I want to think about this for a minute. So we're going to have this, and it will cut off. I'm just thinking about, and then this is obviously going to cut off. And then these are going to be my photos. Okay. And I think I want to mat the photos in this paper. So, oh, this is going to work good, friends. This is going to work good. So what I'm going to do, this really is non-directional. I can just put this any way I like. And this is really going to help these photos pop on this page. There were all different kinds of things when I thought about like my favorites. There were all different kinds of ways I could have taken this, and this was 100% my favorite way. And so now we are going to and here's my thing. I would rather have just a little more than have too little right there, okay? And let's trim this off, because you can always trim a little off, but you can't add more too. And there is going to be, oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Now we're going to do like a 1/4 inch of this gold. And I love this gold shimmer. It is so pretty. And again, we'll cut that down to the size that we need. This, I want to be like 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. And then now we will size everything up and make our final cuts. And we'll be ready to go to the really cute decorative part of this. Love it, love it, love it. So let's look at, I think I want this to be 7.5 inches, 8.5 inches. Making sure I'm going to be happy with that. So if that's going to be 8.5 inches, then this one is going to be like 9.5. These are extra. And then this one, I'm probably going to leave just as it is, probably. All right, so let's, and then this one, we'll just trim this down if we leave the plaid piece. And I'm sorry, friends, if I get a little sideways. I'm going to go ahead and just take some mint tape. This is a trick I learned from my sweet friend, Brenda. I normally use the repositionable glue dots on the back, but we're going to be doing this. So let's go ahead and anchor this down. And I'm just eyeballing this for the moment, friends. Oh, I love it. I love it. That could have been just a little bit bigger. So let's make that 10 inches. Let's pull this one off. That was why I wanted to check this. I was afraid I might not like the size of that, but that's okay. We can come back. We have plenty of paper. Let's cut another 3 inches. And we're going to do by 10, which means we're just going to remove 2 inches. Cut backwards here. And I think I'm going to like that size much better. Can't be the only one. I cannot be the only one, my sweet dear friends. Just eyeballing that because you know sometimes I don't want to measure. Okay, now to make this paper stand out, you know what I'm going to do, friends. You know what I'm going to do. We're going to take this dark evergreen ink, another one of my favorite things, and ink pad to paper. And that's okay if it gets a little messy here and there. That's me, and I like it. But by doing that, that's going to help that piece of paper stand out, right? That is going to help that piece of paper stand out beautifully. And you know that I am always using repositionable ink, friends. Always. Yes, I like that. Now, I'll tell you what I can do to make this. I could totally ink that too, but I don't want to do that. I could pop it up, but I don't want to. So, what we're going to do here is this is not on the, I don't think it's on the sketch. I don't even know where I put my sketch. Let's cut little flags right there, and then this little piece of gold. Oh man, this is really gonna make this pop. I love it. So let's get this glued down. I love it. This is a great little, it's not really a challenge, but it's a great way for me to get myself back into scrapbooking, and we'll double check all of that and make sure that we're going to be straight. And on this one, let's do this opposite. So right about there, so that it's gonna look like a little banner cut. And let's just take a quick peek at that to make sure that looks pretty straight. And then I'm going to pull in, since we're working with favorites, my favorite liquid glue, which is Barely Arts. And we're just going to do a little sprinkle. And I bet you're wondering, when are you going to do the stenciling? I'm going to do the stenciling next. The stenciling is going to come next. My sweet, sweet friends. Love that. Now my stenciling is going to be a little different than the way it would be if I turned my page the other way. I'm going to do my stenciling just a tiny bit different. I love that. Would you look at how beautiful that gold is? And then when I do my little gold splatters, oh, I love it. I love it. Love it. So I think what I'm going to do here, friends, is my stenciling. Okay, let's do it like this. We're going to let this piece right here be the stenciling that happens right there. Okay, just this little piece. And I kind of want it to be a little sideways. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lay down tape just so we don't get any. Now I'm going to pull in green apple. I want a very light hand. Very light hand. And what did I do with my sample swatch? Very light hand, friends. Very light hand. If a little goes in them those polka dots, I'm okay with that. Would you look? I love it. I love it. Love it. Now let's pull this back up and let's come over on the other side. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to clean this off because we're going to flip this over. And you have to be careful when you clean daintily cut stencils, friends. You have to be careful when you do daintily cut stencils. Like right there, I think I almost tore that one. Wiping a little bit hard. Oh, I love it. Would you look how beautiful, friends? And now we're just going to wipe that off the back. And I'm not going to go as hard this time. I think my bottle is almost broken because I use that Mr. Bottle so much. I think it's almost broken. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come in well, oh, friends, would you just look how cute? I will put a little more adhesive under that. I am loving this. I mean, I'm here to tell you I'm here for it. I'm loving it. And we'll clean that when we're finished. Oh, friends, I love it. I love it. Okay, let's put a little more adhesive. Okay, friends, now, I don't want any stenciling up here because I want this to be our main focus. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know, because here's what I thought I would do. I still like the idea of stamping Lucky, but I don't know what it's going to look like there. So on this paper collection that I'm using, there's the word Lucky. I could back it with that beautiful gold. And then we have hashtag good life, okay, which would be like cute to do up here. And then when you look, there's like this little flower cluster here and a little flower cluster up here. So there's this itty bitty little flower. So like I could totally like hashtag good life right there. And then I could do, I think that flower is just kind of too big. There is a smaller flower, and there's these leaves. And I don't think I need any up there. And I could do the Lucky on gold and not necessarily stamp anything. Not necessarily, because I feel like this is pretty the way it is. What do you guys think? I don't know that I'm going to stamp anything else. I do feel like I need some kind of little leaf up there, so I might steal a leaf that I could replace this one. We may steal a leaf from up there. And then do our splatters. And I think we'll be finished, friends. Ooh, I like that. I like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to open up. I thought about opening that up, but we'll just use our glue. And we're not going to put the glue everywhere because we want to be able to trim. But at the same time, we want this to stick. Let's give that just a second. It dries clear. You may be able to see it right now, but it does dry clear. So once it's dry and this page is finished, you will not be able to see where that glue is. So we're just going to trim a little shorter, and then we're going to have to fussy cut this, which means I'm probably going to need to get out a more micro tip pair of scissors. And so what I'm doing is I'm just barely going under the outline. This was why I wanted to be careful where my glue went. I'm just barely going under the outline of the letters. Okay, I have that finished, friends, but we're going to have to pull in our X-Acto knife, and we're going to have to pull in a marker to try to touch that up. Trimming around these letters proved a little more difficult than I thought it would be with this paper. And this word, the laser cut word, is on a white core. Pull in some of our old handy dandy files. That'll take care of that. Now the only thing I have to do is clean this up. I love the gold shimmer behind it. But yeah, it has proven a little more difficult. And I knew I probably would have to finagle a little bit with the C. But I definitely was not expecting that white core, my scissors, to touch the outline of the word lucky, and it gave me a white core. Wasn't expecting that. But we can fix it. And here's what. If we can't and I don't like it, then we stamp it. And I am not cutting this part from the video because I feel like it's important to show when we have little things like this that don't go the way we wanted them to. I think it's important to show ways we can fix. These little distressing files are, if I'm not mistaken, they were basic gray from way back in the day. If I'm not mistaken. Okay. So there's that. Let me put my lid back on my knife. And then I am going to in my and when I splatter, I can intentionally get a little bit. This Alpine green blend, I think as it dries though, it will be okay. But we can definitely splatter a little bit. Oh, I love it. I love it. I think I'm going to like it. So let's go ahead and attach this. I'm going to use this liquid glue because I'm using the Repositionable. I don't think would stick. And of course, you know I'm going to pop this little guy up with some foam. Lost my leaf. This is the same thickness all the way around. The tape it's just different sizes. I'm only going to peel the one off right there in the middle. And then on my leaves, oh, friends, I love it. I love it. And let's put Good Life right there. And then we just need one foam square behind this one. And then we're just going to fussy cut this little leaf as close as we can, because when I reuse this flower, you're not even going to know that I fussy cut that off. I love it. Okay, so the only thing that I need to do now is spritz in some of my, let's move these things. Let me think about this. Do I want to stamp? I have a teeny little shamrock. I think I do. I have these two. Let's pull my little bitty. And I'm going to pull in my evergreen. Season my stamp. Don't worry about that. I'll see to it that I get some splatter right there. I didn't put my foam under, and that's why that happened. That is why that happened, friends. See how nice that one is? And then let's come up here, and we'll sort of use this a little bit as love it. Love it. And then we have this little bitty right here. Love it. Okay, so now we are ready to do our splatter. Let's see if there's a little something. I like this. Collect beautiful moments. Lucky is a state of mind. Oh, I love that. Let's use that. Lucky is a state of mind. Let's use it, friends. And we are not. Let's practice on our scrap paper to make sure that we do not have ink on the part of Lucky. I love it, love it, love it. So let's put a little piece of masking, what I do with my masking tape. Let's make sure that Lucky gets masked off. Oh, love it! Because could it really be one of my favorite things if I didn't stamp? Could it really be? No. So now we are really almost finished. I have made a mess. So let's pull this guy out, and I want to cover this photo first. Because I don't want my photos to get ink on them. Everywhere else I'm okay. I just don't want it on my photos. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come in with this gold. Going to spritz in some water. And by using a fluffy brush, you're going to get the larger splatters. Remember I said I would fix that, so it was intentional right there. Your girl can't do a scrapbook page without some splatter. And I love it. I may come back and do just I really don't think you can tell there, but just for the fun of it. And this is a watercolor, so it does wash up easy, friends. It is a little messy, so make sure that you have a way to clean it up. But when you mix it with your water, because it is a watercolor, it comes right up. Oh, I love it. Let's take a peek. See how that inking the edge really made that pretty? Look at what that gold does. Would you look at that handsome? Do you not love that, friends? Lucky is a state of mind. I love it. And that stenciling was perfect. Don't worry about that little water spot right there. That will dry. That will dry down just fine. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy it? If you're new to my channel, be sure to say hi, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're also new, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified when I post new content. And be sure and check out the Memorial YouTube Hop link down below. And again, prayers and hugs for all of Sonia's family. Thanks, friends, and happy scrapping.